Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is David Curry, Vero Beach Police Chief, C-U-R-R-E-Y, and we certainly want to give you an update this morning on our missing adult, Rachel Crenshaw. This morning, about 3:43 a.m., one of our police officers on patrol located a white female walking in the area. We have a residential area here in the city called McCanish Park. He located her and checked out with her and identified her to be our missing adult, Rachel Crenshaw. And again, that was at 3:43 this morning, October 14th. We brought Ms. Crenshaw back to the police department and interviewed her. And as you all know, originally reported by her boyfriend, Carlos Lopez. They had gone to a home on Flamevine Road back on the 26th of September to visit friends and have a meal and spend some time there. And an altercation ensued between the two of them, and they were out front, and she left on foot westbound from Flamevine Road. That we had originally reported, that Mr. Lopez had originally reported as well. And she told us that same story as well this morning, that she had left on foot. She essentially made some friends and left the area. So she's been out of the area for the last 2 weeks, and she was unaware that she had been reported missing. This is her statement to us. She again was out of the area, out of this county for the last 2 weeks, and then came back actually just yesterday evening, via a ride to Indian River County. And again, that's when we located her this morning. She did not, during the 2-week period, she did not attempt to contact co-workers, family, or friends. And she advised us that she was safe and free from any injury, and we, with our assistance, she's been safely located as of this morning.
You mean you said she made friends that took her out of town? What do you mean by that? Like she just met some strangers and...
Yeah, essentially she met up with some people that that befriended her, and they essentially, I think, heard her story and were willing to help. And I think she was wanting to have distance and separation, and that's what took place.
So those people basically drove her somewhere else?
They drove her somewhere else, and they also, from what she's telling us, and again, that's of this morning, that they drove her back yesterday evening.
Do you know where they spent the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we do at this time. There's some sensitivity there as far as where she's going to be and things like that, and so we're not releasing the specific area right now, but it was out of town. It was in Florida, but out of town, out of Indian River County.
You can't see what they were doing? Was she just hanging out?
She was. She did not know she was reported missing, never heard of it. She was spending time. They were helping her out with food and shelter and food, clothing, things like that. And I think she decided that, per her, that she didn't want to be on their dime anymore, and thought she'd come back. And I even saw her briefly this morning, and she said she just decided to come back to Vero Beach, and not necessarily come back to anyone specific, because most of her family, if not all, aren't even in Indian River County. Fortunately, she did, and fortunately, we located her again this morning, and she's safe and well, and we're happy to report that.
Do you think that's why she didn't call, like, if she's going to leave town, why didn't she call someone she knew? You think it's because her family doesn't live locally that she just entrusted these strangers?
Yeah, she has left her home before, and certainly when she did in the past, she has reported it or somebody knew. This was a little different. And again, I think one of the keys here was separation from her boyfriend, and not wanting him to know where she's at, things like that, and that's why she didn't report to work on Tuesday. That was apparently a good job that she held and she enjoyed, and the co-workers enjoyed having her. But if she's there, somebody knows where she's at. So again, there's some separation and distance that she wanted in regard to the relationship. And she was able to, again, meet up with some people that were willing to help and assist.
When she left, it was late. Did she say anything about where she met these people? She walked on, she left all of her stuff.
Yeah.
So she just just found some people? Did she say where?
Yeah,
or-
she didn't walk too far. She just walked over toward the beach area. And of course, the Flame Vine residence is only a block to 2 blocks away from the beach. She kind of just walked west and doubled back a little bit and spent the time reflecting, I guess, and again, wanting to have some separation and met up with some individuals that she explained her situation and story, and evidently were willing to assist her. And she told us she spent the night in Indian River County, and then thereafter left the county to another county here in Florida.
You talk about how much time, manpower, and effort,
Yeah,
small police
absolutely.
departments spent looking for this woman for over 2 weeks.
We spent an enormous amount of resources, personnel time, hours, time, and absolutely for the last 2 weeks, the road officers, our detective division, numerous hours overtime, reaching out, dealing with the media, doing our best. And we were there was a candlelight vigil Sunday night at 6, Mid-Florida held, and myself and Lieutenant Pedersen attended, and I told them that day that we were going to do all we could, and it didn't matter how much or what resources it took, and it never does, and it never will, and we told them that we were wanting to find her and hopefully save. So it absolutely was a lot of time spent and a lot of hours. We were sifting through phone records and digital downloads and things like that, as you can imagine, with phones and what have you, all in an effort to find her and to piece together what took place. And absolutely.
Is there a
Just a moment.
lesson with that?
Just
Is-
a moment, Ms. Honor, your question.
Yes, please.
Chief Curry, did she meet these people at a bar or restaurant or something, or did she hitchhike?
She went to the beach, and it was in the Driftwood, Waldo's area that I think she met the individuals. And then, again, they assisted her from there. She was never injured. Again, she's reporting no crimes in that regard as far as the individuals that assisted her and that kind of thing. And
Are you in touch with these individuals as far as corroborating her story?
I don't believe we have been yet, but we're going to follow all that up. Again, this was 4 o'clock this morning, and they're certainly out of town, and we're going to make sure that matches tomorrow for sure.
So
Yeah.
she didn't think at any point, maybe I should call my job and let them know I'm not going to be here for a few weeks, or call a friend or call somebody, even
Right.
call you guys. Why did she explain to you why she didn't tell even anyone? I'm not telling you where I am, but I am okay.
Yeah, and I actually asked her that last night or this morning, and when I came out as well, same kind of question, and she said her exact words were not in my world, and translated to me that seemed that she's very distant from her family, her ex-husband, even her children, and even her mother, and to her they wouldn't have reported her missing. She didn't know she was reported missing, and that's how she felt. That, because I imagine she probably would have made a phone call at least.
To her job.
Yeah, yeah. And the job, again, she didn't go back to the job because she wanted separation, but she certainly could have called and say, hey, look, I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
And legally speaking, I mean, an adult can voluntarily disappear, can walk away and disappear if they want, correct?
Yeah, you can leave and what have you, and people do that probably more than we realize, and not be even reported, but, it's our job to locate, and we weren't ruling anything out, because, again, it was some unknowns, and we were doing follow-up through today. We were working every day on this case, and again, fortunately, we found her this morning, and she's okay, but, an adult can certainly leave on their own. But, and of course, the family had contacted us and called, but generally, you would think, and for the most part, somebody in your family would be hounding law enforcement and very, very concerned and at our doorsteps. And that wasn't quite the case here, again, because of the distance with her relationship she has with her family members. And that's why I think she said, not in my world, that she didn't expect anyone to necessarily even report, even the boyfriend, because they had fault. I guess she's left before and hadn't been reported missing.
So did she seem surprised to hear about the search efforts? I mean, did you tell her, like, there was a vigil for you, we were searching? I mean,
Yeah,
what was her
I told her
reaction to
that. We told her all of that, and again, I mentioned because we all took a group photo at the vigil Sunday, and that the effort was to put it on her Facebook. And as we reported, she didn't have a phone when she left. And the phone that she did, the Facebook was pretty much controlled by Mr. Lopez, from our understanding. So she wasn't going back to that Facebook page anyway. Because I said, we took a group photo with Vigil and all concerned coworkers and friends on Sunday evening, and you would have, in an effort that maybe she would see that if she was out there, and she hadn't.
Can the person, I mean, obviously, everybody's glad she was found safely, but in this situation, what do you guys do to recoup the time and the money? I mean, is there any way to do that?
Not necessarily. You look at it, and you look, of course, we deal in crime. So, the bottom line is she's safe, and that's what we're very happy to report. And we talked about all the time and resources and overtime, and I can certainly come up with a figure, and it's not going to be a small number. But, that's just sometimes what we have to do in law enforcement to come to a positive conclusion, whether it's a missing person or a crime. And again, we did not rule out that a crime hadn't been committed. Mm-hmm. And even if she walked away on her own, what happened, she could have been assaulted in her trip, if you will, and out and about. So, we're not going to, we wish her, we're helping her be safe. We're helping her, maybe get back on her feet. And we do that as well. So there shouldn't be anything in that regard as far as, here's what the cost was, you owe us.
Yeah.
There's times when you may do something like that, but not necessarily in this case.
A lesson for some, I guess the lesson to be learned here is just find some way to let somebody
communicate some way. And in today's world with the media, with Twitter and Facebook and phone, just make some, even if you don't directly call a family friend or, make it happen somehow. Let us know that you're out there. Hey, I don't want to be found. I'm okay, and what have you. At least we hear from something from them.
Chief Curry?
Yes.
Could we get the name of the officer who found her?
Officer Joshua Harris.
And how long was she here being interviewed this morning?
I think she came back into the county around 7-ish yesterday, so she actually hadn't been here in Vero too long, early evening, late evening. And we found her about 3:43 as reported. And again, I was here for a little while, and then they interviewed her, I would say a couple hours, close to a couple hours, and we had a victim's advocate involved to assist with that and efforts to make her safe and get her to a safe location, and which is what she wanted to do.
Do you know if she received any assistance from any organizations where she was for 2 weeks?
To my knowledge, no. It was all through where she stayed with these individuals.
It was
Again, shelter, food.
2 individuals that she was with? Or?
I don't know the number, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it was some roommates kind of situation, but I don't know the specific number.
It's pretty incredible for complete strangers to be willing to take in this woman, support her financially, and
At least shelter, food,
Yeah.
some clothing. She walked away with just their clothing, and it's
were they just compelled by her story, I guess?
possibly. And again, it's interesting that someone even would go with strangers in that matter, not knowing them specifically either, getting in a vehicle and traveling, and yes, you think they're helping you, but you never know. So it kind of goes both ways in that regard. Interesting on their part and interesting on her part to take the chance from both sides.
Do you plan to talk to the people that she was with, or is
Yes.
it just closed at this point?
No, we try to be as thorough with everything we do. So I think part of that this investigation will be to do just that.
Chief, where was she dropped off last night by her friends?
She was dropped off out on State Road 60 in the area of Walmart,
She just wandered around for 8 hours?
essentially. Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
friend,
She said she was by the high school at one point and listening to the band, and then I think she was intending to finally seek assistance, and we found her before that, via a church service or what have you. Again, it's 3:43 in the morning. There's not too many facilities that are open, so I think that was her intention finally. And so maybe we would have heard that way finally, but again, we found her prior.
How close to the park it was where she dropped off? The park where she was found?
Probably Walmart, 2-3 miles, something
Okay.
like that.
What's the name of the park?
McCanch Park. Yeah, it's a residential area here in the city, just off of, over by St. Helens Church that way. Just north of State Road 60 in the St. Helens Church area.
And you said she didn't have a phone at the time, but did she try to call on somebody else's phone, do any kind of social media, connect, computer, anything? in
No,
choice?
she actually obtained a phone last night
Okay.
through these friends. So when we located her, she had a phone with her. But that was only for a few hours, and I think, again, her intention was not to communicate too much because she didn't want to be located by certain individuals or her boyfriend.
Are you guys looking at that relationship? I mean, what can you tell us about whether or not she feared for her safety, or are you talking to him more? Or
We've talked to both, and he's been cooperative through the investigation, and, she clearly does not want to be a part of that, and, again, wants separation, and I think that's what this all, amounted to.
So she's no longer staying with him then?
No, and we're getting her help in that regard as far as relocating, what have you, and somewhere safe, and, that's the crux of it, and we're looking at the case itself as well, reference their relationship, and as far as any charges, currently there aren't any, but that's something we may sit down with the state attorney and go over the whole investigation, what occurred from start to end, if you will, and go from there. And if we have any charges, we'll certainly let you know.
So what was her plan if that officer hadn't found her walking?
Well, I think it sounded like eventually to
Just,
wander up to one of the churches this morning and seek help, assistance. And as we all know, our churches, throughout, open their doors to anyone, and will at least help and or refer. So it sounds like, again, we may have finally located her that way if we didn't find her this morning walking around.
Chief, have you ever seen something like this before, where someone just disappears and reappears?
No, I haven't in almost 26 years. No, not that's, and there were some unknowns and things we were following up, and we were certainly concerned for her welfare, and we're, again, that's why we're so glad. Even though it's been 2 weeks, a lot of hard work and what have you, we're glad she's safe, and that's the bottom line. That she's safe. That's what we're here for, to protect, literally, and we're just happy that she's okay, and we'll do our best to assist her and put her in the right direction in that regard. And we wish her nothing but the best and hope things work out for her in the future. I would like to also, again, acknowledge the hard work of our detective division, without question, as always, and specifically Detective Dennis Diacetis and Detective Brad Metz. And also the assistance from the Melbourne Police Department and the Indian River County Sheriff's Department, because they assisted us with some of the digital forensics with the phones and that kind of thing, as well as some helicopter search and some things like that, canine, what have you. So, as always, we get assistance if needed, and we do the same as well.
And did those friends who helped her, did they contact anybody, law enforcement in the county they're from? Just because I would think if I'm going to help someone out, take them away from their home, just to make sure no one thinks I kidnapped that person, did they attempt to do anything?
No, and I had the same question, and again, we'll get more of that when, if and when we can locate him and speak to him. You go up to a couple individuals that you don't know and explain your situation, and it's based on, domestic or a relationship issue, and then you're willing to help that person. I may be willing to help, but I may also call the local law enforcement and say, look, this person came up, not knowing what may have happened prior, and say, look, we're helping this girl out, getting her some distance, that's what she wants, but, we have her and she's okay. We just think law enforcement should know locally. That did not happen. They were well out of the area of our viewing area, if you will. But again, with Facebook and other things like that too, we had it posted, what have you. It just didn't happen that way. So that's a bit of a head scratcher too. Any other questions?
Oh, she's in. It's in.
Well, I'll certainly stay around for a few minutes or what have you, if you think of any other questions that you want to ask, I'm here, and if there are no other questions, we'll conclude the press conference.
You're not going to release the county or city where she was?
Not currently.
Okay.